Because you know some stories. I'm not going to out you.
Yeah.
But you shared a private story with
100%.
me during the draft process about Shedeur Sanders as to why a certain team that we all thought was going to take Shedeur didn't take Shedeur.
The way they have done Shedeur Sanders, we have never seen this done.
Elaborate. When you say the way they've done
Shedeur,
what part of this is Shedeur Sanders responsible for? Because collusion, NFL hates him, sure. But if he was one of your kids, what part of this is Shedeur responsible?
I don't think Shedeur is responsible for any of it, of how the NFL has treated him.
How is he supposed to go about it? Especially given the circumstances that I've said it publicly. I don't think the Cleveland Browns really want him to succeed.
Cleveland Browns firing head coach Kevin Stefanski makes it impossible to ignore how differently he treated Shedeur Sanders versus Dillon Gabriel, and the data proves it. Now look at the historical context. The typical worst season sits around 35% pressure. Even rare outliers are around 39%, but Sanders is at 46%. That is not normal bad O-line. That is historically abnormal.
I don't want to blow my own horn, but let's be real, I'm really qualified. And technically, you shouldn't even have to blow your own horn, but now and then it's perfectly fine just to say, I told you so. Literally, every neuron in your brain is screaming it, so why not get it off your chest before your head explodes? God, I'm telling you, I told you so. Because if you all remember earlier in the season, when the Cleveland Browns traded Kenny Pickett and then moved Joe Flacco, I said right then and there, this was a pure Moneyball move. This was straight up Andrew Berry Moneyball, forcing Kevin Stefanski to figure out how to get Shedeur Sanders on the field at some point.
Doing your job and me doing mine. Not my first baseball game.
All
Scott
right.
Hatterberg can't hit.
Hits on base.
Defense is
Still keeps us in the plus column. We only need to be 7 over 500. What?
anything else.
You can't start paying you first tonight.
I am starting him at first.
I don't think so. He plays for Detroit now.
Art, I can do this all day long.
You're killing this team.
And just like the coach in Moneyball, Kevin Stefanski was not thrilled about trading away his quarterbacks. These were his picks. Kevin wanted Joe Flacco. Kevin traded for Kenny Pickett. But Andrew Berry pulled the boss move, knowing full well his job was on the line, just like Stefanski's. He moved his pieces, probably with the owner's blessing, and made the calls that needed to be made. And what did Stefanski do in response? He rolled with it and gave Dillon Gabriel all the practice reps, letting him run the plays and get the work in.
Yesterday you mentioned that you're going to stick with Dillon going forward. When you talk about looking at every single thing, why wouldn't you, just to see if it does anything to the offense, give him an opportunity to go in there and play?
Yeah, obviously my focus is where we are right now, Mary Kay. That's not my focus.
I don't think he likes Shedeur. I still think he likes him. Well, Coach, you guys are getting your ass kicked. You don't want to put your backups in? That's not my focus right now. Like, I don't think he likes the kid.
Yeah. So I don't give what you said right after the game. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have this meeting on Monday, and shit, maybe he come down, put his foot down, put him in right now. On Wednesday practice, I want Shedeur in there right now.
Do you even want him to play? Knowing that Stefanski has this beef with him, knowing that there's some tension in the front office, are they even going to set him up for success? Or is there a potential that they just set him up for failure?
And yeah, absolutely. A lot of us were sitting back, wondering what Kevin Stefanski was really doing and what his intentions were with Shedeur Sanders. And when Shedeur finally got his shot, the big question was what it was really going to look like. Was it going to be a fair opportunity? Was it actually a legit chance to shine? Of course, there were plenty of people saying we were overreacting, claiming no coach would sabotage his own team just to make a specific quarterback look bad.
I do not lie to you. Do I ever lie? I don't lie to you. You know how I felt about this game, okay? And you know how I feel about this.
Well, now we actually have some receipts, and it comes from a solid source, Leah Carmona. She's a TikTok statistician, and this is literally all she does. She gathers data from football, baseball, basketball, you name it, and breaks it down on TikTok. And if you haven't seen her work yet, I'm about to play it for you right now. Go ahead, take a look.
Sanders has without a doubt received unfair criticism and has been placed into a system set up for him to fail. And if you do not believe me or you base your opinions off of false narratives or vibes, let me walk you through the data that disproves the most common critiques about him, because context matters, and yes, it is that deep. Critics say he holds the ball too long, that's why he gets hit. All right, look at this. Sanders was pressured on 46% of his dropbacks. That is not a little bad. That is nearly half the time that he drops back. The league average is 26.5%. So before you blame the quarterback, you have to admit reality that the pocket is collapsing constantly. Then people say every rookie struggles like this. No, they don't. Look at the rookie comparison. Other rookies are living in the mid-20s to low 30s pressure range. Sanders is at 46%. That's not the same problem. That is an entirely different sport. Next critique. Bad offensive lines happen every year, so stop making excuses. Cool. Now look at the historical context. The typical worst season sits around 35% pressure. Even rare outliers are around 39%, but Sanders is at 46%. That is not normal bad O-line. That is historically abnormal. Now, the loudest take, he gets sacked too much, so he must be terrible. But watch what happens when you use context. His sack rate is 7.7%, league average is 6.8%. So yes, sacks are happening, but with historic pressure, you would expect him to be way worse than the average, and he isn't. Then comes my favorite critique. He creates his own sacks. That is where that claim dies. Look at pressure to sack conversion. Sanders is at 15%. The league average is 21%. That means when pressure happens, he actually avoids sacks better than the average quarterback. So sacks aren't primarily because he's clueless, it's because pressure is showing up non-stop. Then people say, just throw it faster. Okay, here's the timing. Cleveland pressure arrives around 2.25 seconds. That is earlier than the league average. So yes, Sanders' time to throw is 3.4 seconds, which is long. That's on him sometimes, of course, but it is also a part of his playmaking. And what matters is pressure is arriving before routes fully develop, so a lot of plays turn into survival mode. Next claim is the line isn't even that bad, but the pass block win rate says otherwise. Cleveland is at 49% pass block win rate. The league average is 56%. That gap is massive, and it means the line is losing quickly and often, which forces the quarterback into scramble, throwaway, or sack situations. And the final critique is he cannot operate from the pocket. How do you even prove that if he rarely gets one? Sanders has a clean pocket on 32% of dropbacks. The league average is 58%. So you are evaluating pocket QB ability when he's getting a clean pocket only half as often as everyone else. That is not evaluation. That is setting him up to look bad. This isn't about saying that he was perfect. It's about acknowledging the system that maximized the full amount of difficulty for him. And when you ignore pressure, protection, and structure, you are analyzing a quarterback wrong and instead just reacting to narratives.
God bless her. She just earned herself an honorary invite to the barbecue, to the cookout. And y'all might want to go support her channel too, because after this, I'm sure she's gonna catch her fair share of hate, just like the rest of us. So do her a solid. Check out her channel. This is straight up inside information, y'all. You're not going to see this on ESPN, I can promise you that. They'll throw up QBRs, some flashy stats, maybe a couple of misleading numbers, but you're never going to see stats like this. This right here tells the real story. Coaches see this, and if I'm a coach looking at the Cleveland Browns and Sanders, I'm thinking, this quarterback went through a gauntlet. He had a coach putting him in impossible positions, a bad offensive line, weak personnel all around him, and yet he still performed. He still found ways to succeed. That's the kind of player you build around. That's what I'd be thinking if I were a potential coaching candidate for the Browns. And I think more and more people are seeing it now, understanding exactly what Shedeur Sanders had to overcome this season. That's my take. That's how I feel about it. Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comment section like y'all always do. Keep that conversation alive. And if you haven't already, smash that like button for me one time. And as always, peace and chaos.